Hello. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. If my voice is audible, type S in the chat box. Yeah. Yes. We'll start with the session. So, in today's session, we are going to go through that is connect everything, the IoT sensors to dashboard with Node-RED. Okay. So, your important one is in today's session, we will be going through this Node-RED. Okay, how to connect the IoT sensors and the backend cloud with the Node-RED dashboard. Okay, so before starting with the session, today's agenda points are a brief introduction about IoT, then the block diagram. We are not going to spend much time on that. Okay, we'll be going through the brief introduction on that. Then we'll be going through what is dashboard and actually what is Node-RED in this IoT platform, then demo and mini project. Finally, our QA session. So with all this, we'll start with the session. Before starting the session, if you are not able to hear the voice or like if the video is not visible due to technical issues or anything, people can drop the message in the chat box or else people can drop the message to the Telegram group or in the WhatsApp. Okay. So a basic introduction because this is in the online session. So to know whether you are in the live feed, on the right bottom corner of your screen, you can see a timer. Okay, it's the actual time, the local time over here. Okay, that time and your time should match. If it is not, check that whether you are watching any replay or what. Okay, so because sometimes if you are watching the replay, you will not be able to participate in the live QA sessions and all. For that reason, make sure you are in the live session. Okay, so if these instructions are heard and clear, type S in the chat box so that we can proceed further. Make sure the time on the right bottom corner of the screen and your mobile time are matching together so that you are in the live feed. If not, you are watching the pre-recorded video session. Okay. And second thing is like if you are not able to hear the voice or the screen is stuck or something, make sure you're going to drop the message in the chat box or else you can drop the message to the WhatsApp number. Okay. So if the instructions are clear, yes. So we'll start with today's session, a brief introduction about the instructor, myself Arun Kumar N. I have a teaching experience of 13 plus years with Python development for 8 plus years. And I am also a training head at Skill Desk with a technical advisor at Digital Attain. My strong subjects are Python, IoT, penetration testing, and embedded system. And I like training the students to build their new concept for their curriculum projects and hobbies. We have developed 10 plus industrial products, okay, for the industries like hair removal machine, tattoo removal machine, those type of machines. We have designed and we have developed. We have an in-house R&D in skill desk along with the skill desk, and we have also developed at picodisk v1.1 iot development board for making the projects easier for the students. Okay. So this is our Pico V1.1 and this board is also available. If anyone wants, you can go through the Skilldesk website and you can check the details of it. Okay. Along with this, for making the IoT learning easier, okay, so we have come up with Pico IoT Spark and Pico IoT Explorer. Okay, so we'll go through a brief about it at the end of the session. I don't want to waste the time over that. we'll start with today's actual session, which is of IoT, Internet of Things. Okay. So most of them you'll be knowing what is Internet of Things. Okay. So we'll go through a brief of it. Okay. So if anyone has an idea what actually is Internet of Things, and if you have used any application with respect to Internet of Things, okay, you can drop in the chat box. If you have gone through any IoT application in your day-to-day life, okay, or if you have come across any industrial applications with respect to IoT, you can drop it in the chat box. Any ideas? Okay. So we'll see what is Internet of Things, the definition of that. Okay. So Internet of Things, basically it's connecting the unconnected by making smart objects to communicate with each other, with the system and people. We call it as Internet of Things. Okay. That is, most of the things we could have been seen nowadays, we want it to be automated. Okay, we want it to be automated and we want to reduce the work. Okay, so for reducing the work we need it to be connected through different means. Okay, and we want those objects to communicate with each other. Say something like your electric, say assume you have an electric vehicle, you need to know what is the charge availability in your vehicle before itself, before starting the ride you need to know that. Okay, without going near the vehicle, through your mobile phone you can get the notification. Sometimes like you will be kept your vehicle for the charge. Okay, so you need to get the notification once it has been completed with certain duration of percentage. Okay, similarly, like nowadays we want the vehicles to be available near the doorstep. Okay, if you want to travel previously, you need to go towards the auto stands to book the auto, or else you need to wait near the street for the auto to pass around you and you'll be booking the autos. Okay, this was been the previous regularity. But nowadays we sit inside our room, okay, or somewhere else, we book for someone else, your friend or your family members, through a mobile application with the help of Uber, Ola, or Namayatri, like that. Okay, so these all these applications are something like IoT applications. Okay, so in today's session we are not going through that IoT building all those things. We'll be concentrating more mainly on a particular part, that is the dashboard part. Okay, so when we say dashboard, that means there are different blocks in the IoT. Okay, those blocks are endpoint, embedded system, then the host, a server, and an interface. Okay, if we had, as we taken a simple example of a traveling app or a booking app for traveling like Uber, Ola, something like that. Okay, so the end point in that particular application will be your car or auto. Okay? So your car or auto will be your endpoint embedded system. Then the server, okay, this will be the server of like Uber or Ola or Namayatri. They'll be having their own server where they will be tracking the vehicle details, everything. Okay, then the interface is your mobile app. The interface is your mobile app. Okay, this car or auto, they will be having a mobile phone through which they will be connecting the location of that vehicle, or uh, they accept the ride. Okay, whenever you want to go to the ride, you'll be giving the pin, those pins they will enter it in their mobile application. You could have been seen the driver, they'll be having a mobile app, there they will enter your pin, then the ride will be booked. Okay, so through that mobile phone act as a host for that endpoint. Okay, it will be interlinked. Okay, that is, to connect to the server they require the internet, that is through their mobile phone they have it interfaced. Okay, so we have the car or auto as an endpoint, then the mobile phone as the host by the driver, then the server provided by the Uber or Olo, like that, then the mobile application which you people use for booking or checking the right details, all this type of things. These have been interconnected. Now the thing is like this endpoint, like whenever you try to book, it is not only one vehicle is awaiting for your ride, there may be many vehicles, okay, where your ride will be sent to them, okay, for the driver to accept. So we'll have multiple endpoints and we'll be having multiple host, we'll be having multiple endpoints and we'll be having multiple host. Okay, as the Uber or Ola or Nammayatra application which you use, you have a single interface, you have a single interface of your mobile application. Okay. Now a server can accept many hosts. Okay, then the host can connect with many endpoints. Okay, these options are available. But the thing is like this is okay for those type of applications like the ride which you want to book. Okay, for those applications, only one interface with your mobile phone is fine. Okay? But as the industry, if you are going to take, or if you are having many locations or office or home, something like that, which you want to monitor from a single endpoint. So assume you have 3 or 4 stores which you need to monitor from a single endpoint. In all those stores you have the CCTV and entry exit sensors being connected, you want to monitor from a single window or the dashboard. Okay, you need to create an application, or you need to pay for the developer to create an application where you can monitor all the 4 stores from a single point of view or from your mobile phone. So you need to spend some amount. Okay, you need to get it done, all those type of. Suddenly if you want to add few more stores, then again you need to reconfigure the dashboard by hiring an developer. Okay, so these are all some difficulties which we face usually. So to overcome this, and in the industries, okay, in the industries you may be adding some machines and you may be removing some machines. Okay, you need to give some permissions for a particular person to view, for some like something like manager, they should be able to view all the process. A particular like a machine maintainer, he needs to view only a particular machine which is been allocated. Okay, so in those cases we need to create different dashboards like that, but that is not possible with the normal application which we are going to build. Okay, so this is where the question comes, how to do this. Okay, having multiple dashboard, is there a possibility of multiple dashboard? Along with that, can we customize those dashboards? Is there an option to customize those dashboard? This is where the Node-RED comes into picture. This is where Node-RED comes into picture, which is our topic for today's workshop. Okay. So we'll see about what is Node-RED. Until now, is there any doubts? Any questions? Oh, others? Yeah, then proceed. So dashboard. Okay, so we have been saying like dashboard, multiple dashboard, customized dashboard, uh, this type of options. So what actually the dashboard is? Say in the application, Ola or Uber application, once you book the vehicle, okay, so you will be prompted with a map will be shown. On the map the vehicles will be shown, that is uh, the drivers who have been nearby your location to whom the ride request has been sent. Okay, that live location can be seen on the map. Once they accept, you can observe a route will be drawn on the map from that vehicle to your particular location, the pickup location. A route will be drawn and you'll be having the time being shown, that is how much time required to reach your location for you to get ready for the ride. All those details will be shown, along with that the driver details, all these things. Okay, so this part is the dashboard. That is the dashboard. Okay, so if you take those applications, you don't have control over the customization of the dashboard. Whatever the features they have provided, only that you can view. You will not be able to customize. Okay, but that is, you'll not be able to customize. Now the dashboard contains, in that particular one, like in your dashboard you will be having the map view, the details of the driver, everything. Whereas the dashboard for the driver will be different, where they can accept the ride or they can reject the ride. Okay, they can view your pickup point and the destination point or the amount. The dashboard will be different depending upon the user. Okay, so the dashboard will contain something like, it can contain the graph. If you're collecting some details with respect to temperature, humidity, pressure, like those type of things, or the gas value, like that, air, the impurities in the air, or the TSH value of the water. Okay, so those data, to represent it easily for understanding, you can have a graph. Or if you want to control, okay, say you need to turn on the light or you need to vary the fan speed. Okay, so those things you should be able to control. You may be having some controllers on the dashboard. It can be the one which you can view, okay, or which you can input some data so that you can pass it to the cloud or the endpoint. Okay, so the dashboard contains these things. Whether we should be able to customize it or not, to make it customizable, we have an easy solution, which is of Node-RED. Okay, the important point with the Node-RED is an open source application. Open source application means anyone can take this source code of the Node-RED, they can customize it, or they can sell, or they can use it for their own or the commercial purpose. Okay, they no need to pay any amount, or they no need to worry about customizing that application. Like for example, if you take Uber and all, the application you will not be able to change because it is closed source. Okay, the application you will not be able to modify, or you will not be able to change. It's a closed source. Only through that application you can access the Uber's server. Okay, whereas Node-RED is not like that. It's an open source, so that if you have any IoT server and if you have an IoT endpoint, then you can easily connect this Node-RED to that. Okay, it's an open source one, and you can customize it and you can add the details. So how this works basically with an event driven mode. Okay, you will be creating some events. Depending upon those events, your dashboard will have the activity shown. Say you are going to fetch the data from a server and you need to display it on the dashboard with the graph. You can do it. For that you can create an event. Okay, similarly, if temperature rises above some point, then you should get a notification through the email. Then you can create an event to trigger the email, so that once the temperature reaches above certain duration of certain point, okay, the event will trigger an email and you will receive the email, whether it can be email or telegram message or WhatsApp message, anything. Okay, so those type of events can be created using Node-RED. Okay, and it is easy to create the events because it's basically a browser based flow editing. It's basically a browser based flow editing. You can create this type of events. Okay, you can create multiple events, and each event will work by itself. Okay, you can have the connection between the two events, or you can create different events itself. And those events, to create those events, it is easy, because you don't need to write much code. You can write the code and you can customize also. Without writing the code also, you can create the events by using the blocks available in the node. That is the name node. Okay, so each and every block here is something known as node. So those nodes will be connected each other, and you will be configuring those nodes according to your requirement. Okay, so node is an browser based flow editing one. Then it is developed on node-red, that is node.js. Node-RED is built on Node.js. Okay, so if you know JavaScript, you can customize it. And say, for example, you have created a dashboard and you want to share the same dashboard to your friend to view the details, or you want to share it in your laptop. You have created a dashboard, the same type of dashboard you need to create it in your desktop or in some other location in your office laptop, something like that. Then you no need to redraw all the flows. Simply you can save that flow in the form of a JSON file, and you can use that JSON file again in different locations. You will have your overall flow on the dashboard ready. So one time you can create a dashboard and you save that in the form of a JSON file. Reuse that JSON file wherever you require the same dashboard, or if you want to modify, you can use it and you can modify your dashboard. Okay, the configurations and the dashboard configuration things will be stored in the form of JSON file, which is a text file. You can modify it easily with any text editor. Then you can create your own custom functions using JavaScript, as Node-RED is developed on Node.js. Okay, so you by if you know JavaScript, then you can create your own node. Okay, it is not that you should use the node which is available already pre-built. You can create your own node by writing the JavaScript code, and you can interface in that Node-RED flow. Okay. So this is what the Node-RED is. Any doubts with this? The main important thing is it's an open source one, and it is browser based editing. Okay, you can simply drag and drop the nodes, you can connect it. Okay, and your event will be ready, it will work. And if you want to recreate the same dashboard, you store it in the form of JSON file, export it, then import it in different system where you require the same dashboard, and it works. And it has huge number of, as it is free and open source, many of them have created their own nodes and they have given it for free. Okay, you can get it from the npm and all. You can install those nodes and you can work with it. It's not that you need to recreate. Okay, you can check whether the required node is already built by someone else for their application. Okay, if that is available, you can simply import those nodes and you can start working. Any questions? Shall we continue with the demo? We'll see with the demo. Okay, then if you have any questions, we will take up with that. So in the demo, we'll be going through walkway simulation. Okay, today's session we are not going through hardware. because recently we have shifted the office. Due to that, we are not able to arrange with that. Okay, so we'll go with the simulation, and we'll be using MQTT protocol for this session, then Node-RED as the dashboard. Okay. uh, See, you if you want to add few more customizations, then you need to know JavaScript. Okay, so without JavaScript also you can use Node-RED, because you can find many modules which have been pre-written by others and it has been shared. So if you want to use those functionalities, simply you can install it and you can use those nodes. If you need to customize it, okay, then you should know JavaScript, as Node-RED is written using JavaScript. Okay, without knowing JavaScript also you can use Node-RED. It's not compulsory, but if you know, you will have more control over it. That's it. So here, like in today's session, we are not going to write any JavaScript code, but still we will be able to create the dashboard. That is what we are going to see. Okay. So for the simulation, we'll be going through Raspberry Pi Pico W. Okay. Then in the Node-RED, we'll be running it locally and we'll be visualizing the data and we'll be sharing those JSON files. If you want to create the same dashboard, you can create it in your system. Okay. So first, Node-RED. Main thing, Node-RED is basically on Node.js, okay, and it is on JavaScript. So you require any one of the JavaScript runtime. It can be any JavaScript runtime. It is not compulsorily that you should have Node.js itself. You can have Bun or you can have Dino. Okay, all these are JavaScript runtime for the system. Like if you want to write any Python code and if you want to execute, you should have Python installed in your system. Similarly, if you need to write any JavaScript code, okay, you can use your browser. In the browser console, you can write the JavaScript code, but if you want to write it as a script and execute it in the terminal or in the system without using browser, then you should have any one of this JavaScript runtime installed. Okay, so in today's session, I'll be going through Bun.js. You can find the Node.js examples which will be given in the Node-RED. Okay, I'll be going through Bun.js because Bun.js is faster than Node, and I prefer using Bun.js a lot. Okay, in my Linux system, so we'll go through Bun.js. Okay, I'll have the code for both Node.js. That is, code everything will be same. That is, block everything is going to be same. Okay, only how you are going to run it is going to differ. That's it. Okay, so to install the Node-RED, you can use npm, which is from Node.js. Okay, npm install -g for global. Okay, Node-RED. Or else, if you are using Bun, you can simply state Bun install Node-RED. Okay, so now I'll be going through this. So I have a empty directory over here. You don't need to worry about it. You can create it in any directory. Okay, so I'll be using Bun. So Bun install Node-RED. Okay, are you able to see the text on the screen? Is it visible, or should we increase the font size? I'll increase. Okay, yeah. Okay, so simply you can state Bun install Node-RED. If you are using Node.js, you can state npm install -g for global, then Node-RED. So this is going to install Node-RED. So once Node-RED is installed, okay, next we need to run the Node-RED in the local host. You can host it on the server. If you have a server, you can host it onto the server also. Okay, here we'll be going through the local system itself. Okay, so running Node-RED, if you are using Node.js, simply you can say Node-RED because you would have installed it in the globally. But I am installed locally, so I'll be going through Bun run Node-RED. Okay, that's it. Once this is done, if the installation is successful, you can see you have the server running at the local host port number 1880. Okay, by default your dashboard will be in the local host with the port number 1880. If you want to change this, you can change this in the settings file. Okay, as I'm not using any other service in the 1880, so it's fine for me, so you can go through this. So now the server is running. Now our task is to open the Node-RED flow. So go to any browser, then localhost 1880. Done. So if the first time if you are installing, because I have deleted all the flows before to showcase how it is going to look at the first time. Okay, so it's going to show like this. Enable update notifications. If you want to get the notification from the browser whenever there is any update, you can enable this, or you can click on don't require. Then this gives you some basic features where you can find the things. Okay, how this works. I click on next, close. Okay, so you can go through each and everything. That is something like it gives a basic information where and all you can find the nodes and the configuration things, all those things. So this is the node red flow dashboard. Okay, so here we can create our own flow in the form of events. So in the left hand side you can see the nodes. Okay, so these are all pre-built nodes which are available by default when you install Node-RED. Okay, you don't need to install any third-party ones. By default itself, you have some common nodes over here. Okay, then functionality nodes, network-related one. Okay, so to go through MQTT protocol, HTTP protocol, WebSocket, TCP/IP, UDP protocol, you have all those nodes already predefined. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. Node-RED is basically something like IoT related one. If anyone has gone through N8N, okay, it is similar to that. Whereas in the N8N also you will be having the nodes where you will interconnect and you will configure the details, and it's going to work. Similarly, Node-RED is also same. You have the nodes and you will interconnect and it's going to work. Here you'll find the nodes particular with IoT related applications. Okay, whereas in the N8N you have it related to AI based flows. Here it is related to IoT related one. Okay, then with sequence parsers, okay, with different file structure, CSV, HTML, JSON, like that. Then you have related to storage related one, okay, writing it to a file or reading from the file, like that. Okay, so these are all some nodes which are already pre-available, and this is the area in which we can create our events. This is the area in which we can create our events. Okay, and here you can observe there's a flow one. Like this you can create multiple flows. You can have multiple flows. Okay, in the right side section you can see the information about these nodes. Whenever you select, say if I select this inject, okay, node, and if I drop it over here, okay, in the right hand side you can go with the help and you will get the information about that particular one. Injects a message into the flow either manually or regular intervals. Okay, that can be configured through this node. Okay, then to know about the debugging, that is debugging information, like in the Python you will be using the print to print some informations while developing, right? Similarly here, to know uh, some outputs. Okay, what is the output of the node, particular node, okay, and how it is being connected to the next node. To get all those details you can use this debug window where you can print the informations. Okay, we'll see with that. Then the settings section. Now I have a node over here which is an inject node which is being selected. Okay, so this is one node. I'll zoom it somewhat so that you can see. So this is one node. So this node I can configure. To configure this, simply double click on that particular node. Okay, once you double click, you can see a window opens. Here it says edit inject node. You can give the name. Okay, so I'll say it as something like welcome inject. Okay, then here message dot payload, then the message dot topic. Like this you can add many messages. Okay, I'll delete everything and I'll do it from scratch so that you will understand. So here I don't have anything. That means when I manually click on this node, I want some message to be passed to the flow. Okay, so for that reason you can click on this add. Okay, it is going to be with message, and you're going you will be giving a name, like a variable name to understand. Okay, so I'll name it as something like name itself, or we'll name it as message. Okay, something like message itself, msg dot message. Then here we'll say welcome to skill desk. Okay, so whenever I manually click on this inject node, it should give the output of welcome to skill desk, like that. Okay, if you want to automate it for every certain duration of time, you can click on this and you can repeat it. Okay, for a particular interval, for every seconds or every 5 seconds, like that, or interval between the times, or a specific date and time. Okay, I don't want to repeat it. Whenever I manually click, I want it, so I'll go with none here, then click on done. Okay, now you can see the name is been given as welcome inject. Okay, and we have a node setup. Okay, then next I need to see that output. Okay, so to see the output, we'll be going through this debug. Okay, everything will not be printed on this debug. Whatever the nodes we are going to, if I am having here 50 nodes, 50 nodes output, I don't want it to be shown on the debug. Only the required nodes output I want it on the debug. For that reason, we have another common node here, which is known as debug. Click, drag it over here, done. Okay, so this debug, you can double click on that and you can give the name. Okay, if required, I'll name it as output, something like welcome output. Okay, then the output over here, there we have given it as message dot message, right? So here I'll say it as message. Okay, msg dot message. Whatever the output from this, which is being connected to the debug, it should show message dot message. Whether I want it to be on the debug window or system console, I can select it over here. I want it to be on debug window, so by default I'll click that. Done. Okay, so now we have two nodes configured. One, whenever I click on this, it should say welcome to skill desk, and this node will print the data which has been received to that. So I need to connect this one to this. Simply you can click on this particular dot, drag it over here to that. Done. Now this welcome node is connected to welcome output node. Okay, now we have our flow ready. We have our flow ready. So this will not work until you are going to click on this deploy. Okay, so here you can see a blue dot which indicates we have modified this flow, but it is not been deployed. Okay, if you want to view the output, first thing we need to deploy it is something like you write the code. If you want, if when you execute, if you want the output to be shown, you need to save that edited file or the code, right? Similarly, when you modify any flow, if you want it to be shown as an output, or it should be taken as an next process, then you should click on this deploy. So I'll click on this deploy. Successfully deployed. Okay, that means now the flow is working. If I click on this inject node, okay, if I click on this inject node, you can see we are getting a message over here in the debug which says welcome to skills. If I click again I'll get that message. So this is manually we are injecting the data into the debug window. Manually we are injecting the data into the debug window. Say I don't want it to be injected manually, I want it to be injected for every 5 seconds, something like that. Then you double click on this inject one. Then in below you can see there is something known as repeat drop down. Select this and give interval, then I'll choose every 5 seconds. For every 5 seconds, then click on done. Okay, now we can observe there's a blue dot over here which indicates we have modified the flow but it is not been deployed. So our next step is to click on this deploy to get it deployed. Okay, so once we have it deployed, you can observe for every 5 seconds here I'm not clicking on that welcome inject, automatically the welcome message is being printed for every 5 seconds. You can observe it over here. So 12, 17, 22, then 27, then next it should be with 32. Here you can see with 32, the next 37. Okay, so for every 5 seconds automatically the data is being injected onto the debug window. Okay, so these continuous interval, this helps in something like if you want to send some data to the server continuously for every 10 seconds or for every 15 seconds, or if you want to check the data from the server, okay, for every particular interval, every morning, every afternoon, or every evening, something like that, then you can create a flow and you can deploy it. Okay, so that code is going, the flow is going to run for every morning and afternoon or evening depending upon your settings, and it's going to give you the output. You can create some flows where you want to check some circulars. Okay, for every day morning you want to know a job has been posted in a particular website or not, you can create a flow for that, make it to run that flow every morning at a particular time. Okay, so the flow will start working at that time. It parse the data and you will get the notification to your email or on the file or on the dashboard. Okay, depending upon your flow what you are going to create. Okay, similarly you have the na10 which works with the AI mode and all. Okay, so here it is particularly with IoT related one. Okay, so this is mainly for the IoT one. It is not constrained to use only for the IoT, you can use it for other purposes also. Okay, but basically this node-RED was developed for IoT application. Okay, so I'll remove this none. I don't want it to be printed continuously. On done and deploy. Now it won't print for every 5 seconds. Only it will print when I click on this button. Okay, so I'll clear this one so you can see. Only if I click on that inject button, okay, it's going to print the output. So here you can observe like we have not written any line of code. Simply we drag and drop the nodes, interconnected it, and we have a flow ready. Okay, so this is a simple one. We'll see how to do it for IoT related one. Okay, with MQTT and MQTT broker. Any doubts until now? There are many blocks over here, like you can create switch. Okay, depending upon some condition you want a particular node to execute. Okay, you can use this switch and all. Okay, and you can use this trigger to trigger on particular intervals, like I said, date and time and all, right? You can use this trigger node for that. Okay, if you want to write your customized function by using JavaScript, then you can go through this function. Okay, you don't need to create a new node itself. You can simply use this function node and you can write JavaScript code over here for whatever the functionality you require, and it starts working for that. Okay, or if you want to create a node something like this, you can create your own node and you can install. Okay, we'll delete. If I need message, we need to open Node-RED with browser. See here, we are showing the example of the debug window, okay, where we can see the output. Okay, so it's not that you need to open this. If you are having a blog where you'll be sending it to the email, then you will receive the data to the email. So for example, I need to read a website. Okay, you can use this http in module. From here you can go with the get, post, put, delete, patch, any method you want, and you add the URL. Okay, give the name for that. Then once that has been done, you will be getting the HTML data. Okay, use the parser to get a particular data from that HTML, that is whatever the HTML has been there. Okay, from that, whether you want to select H1 or the table, okay, or any links like that. Okay, go with those filters, add it over here. Then you create a code over here with the function to send an email to your particular mail ID, so that then use the trigger for every day it visits that particular website. Okay, then get that particular data you want, whether it is a link or an image, something like that, then email it to you. Okay, you can do it. You can get it on the email, or you can configure it for Telegram. Okay, if you are creating dashboard, you need to open the browser to see the dashboard. Okay, if not directly the messages, if you are automating it to your social media platform or anything, you can use it. You can make use of this to post directly to your social media post also. That's also possible. That is what the N8N is doing. Okay, like if anyone would have been gone through this. Okay, so by using this N8N, you can make your process automated, similar to same Node-RED itself. Okay, their node is there, right? Same as it is here also, you'll be having the node. Okay, whereas this has the inbuilt nodes where you can link your Gmail, Outlook, Facebook, Instagram account directly into this. Okay, and you can parse the data and you can make it to send the email or to post it to your Instagram or Facebook directly. Okay, that is N8N. Similarly, Node-RED is for IoT application. That's it. Both serves the same purpose. That is, the working principality is almost same. Okay. Here we are having it in the debug, so we have opened the browser and here we are seeing it. If you want it to be on the terminal, say here on the terminal we don't have any output of that welcome one. Okay, I'll go to this debug, choose system console. I don't want it to be on the debug window, I'll remove it. Done. Okay, then deploy. Now when I click on this, I won't get the output over here. Okay, I'll clear everything over here, you can see. I'll click on this. Okay, it has successfully injected, but we are not seeing the output on the debug window. But if we go to the console, here you can see debug. From the welcome output debug, we are getting the message welcome to skill desk. Okay, so here I have chosen it for system console, same as it is. If you are connecting this to a particular one, there you'll be receiving the output. If you want to write it to a file, you can write it to a file, specify the file name over here. Okay, then whenever you inject, every time the data will be stored on that particular file. Any other doubts? Yeah. Any other questions? Now we will see an example with respect to IoT part. Okay, so we are not going to spend much time on how to create the IoT dashboard, everything. Okay, so we'll go with Oqui simulation. Okay, then we will see how the data we can receive it on that particular Node-RED dashboard. Okay, so for this session I'll be going through a DHT22 sensor connected to Raspberry Pi Pico W. Okay, with MQTT protocol. I'll be sharing this link. If anyone wants to go through this code, you can go through this code. Okay, here our Agenda is not about explaining all these things. We have gone through this in the previous sessions. If anyone is interested to learn about this, how to write each and every line of code from the scratch and how to connect everything, we are conducting an course from December 7th. It's going to start. Okay, if anyone is interested, you people can join for that. We'll give the more information about it at the end of the session. Now here, so there's a DHT22 sensor which can read both humidity and temperature. Okay, we have it over here. That is temperature and humidity can be read from this. And this is for the display to check whether it is being connected to the MQTT broker or not. And we are using here MQTT dashboard from HiveMQ. Okay, HiveMQ dashboard is that is server is being used. Okay, so for that we'll be using this one. It's not required to go through this. This is only I'm showing it over here to understand how the data is been sent to this dashboard, and we'll see how to get that in the Node-RED. Okay, which code is this? Python, Java, or ASM? See, this is Python code. This is a micro Python code. Okay, so in that course, we'll be explaining both how to write embedded C and micro Python. Okay, both will be explained, but we'll be concentrating more on micro Python. We'll touch the basics of embedded C, and also we'll go to the advanced with micro Python. So we are connecting to that broker, that is MQTT dashboard HiveMQ. Okay, over here. Then these are all the topics: skill disk slash temperature and skill disk slash humidity. Those are all the topics we are going to send it to this dashboard. So first I'll subscribe to this from this. Okay, so click on connect. I'll keep this over here and this over here. Okay, it's connected. Click on subscribe. Make it red. Okay, temperature with red, then next one with humidity. Two topics are there, two topics also will subscribe, but I'll keep this blue. Okay, now subscribe for temperature and humidity. Okay, now here we will execute this one, so we can see here. It's connecting to the Wi-Fi. Once the Wi-Fi is connected, it should connect to the MQTT server. Here you can observe MQTT server connection establishment is started. It's connected, and we can observe temperature 24 degree, humidity 40. It has sent the data. If we go to this, here you can observe 40 and 24. Okay, so if I vary the temperature here, okay, you can observe the temperature should be shown over here. We can see, okay, 24, it has been changed. Okay, then that is 44 5.4. Then if I increase the humidity, now humidity has been increased to 58. Okay, I'll decrease the humidity 26.5. Okay, so whatever is being altered over here, that information we are able to see it on this HiveMQ dash, that is backend. Okay, so this is only the server. Okay, so this option is been provided by HiveMQ to check whether the data is connecting or not. Okay. Now we will make use of Node-RED to get these informations from this HiveMQ server, okay, and to plot the graph. We want the graph to be plotted, and we want to see the live graph update, okay, whenever the temperature or the humidity changes over here. Okay, we can get it done from the Node-RED dashboard. Main thing is like Node-RED doesn't work as a server. It is a dashboard part. Here HiveMQ, we are using it as a server part. Okay. So first I'll stop this one. Okay. So we'll go and create a dashboard in the flow. I'll create a new flow for that. Okay. You can rename it. This is Oqui DHT22. Okay. I'll name it as Oqui DHT22. So first thing is we need to receive the data from the MQTT broker. Okay, so I'll be using the network one from MQTT in. So this is where we are going to fetch the data which has been sent to this particular server. Okay, so HiveMQ broker is there, right? For that server, through our endpoint embedded system, we are sending the data that I need to receive. For receiving that, we are using this node. Okay, so double click on this to configure. We don't have any server being created, so we'll create a new server for that. Okay, I'll name this server as hive mq. Okay, then the server name. Okay, the server name we have it over here, that is broker.mqtt-dashboard.com. Okay, and we want it to connect automatically. MQTT protocol v3.1.1 is fine, it works with that. So click on add. So we have our server added. Okay, so that is HiveMQ server has been added. Next thing, I need to subscribe to the topic. Okay, you can subscribe to a single topic or you can subscribe to dynamically one. Okay, I'll go with the subscribe to a single topic. Then the topic names are skill disk temperature. Okay, then output automatically triggers with the JSON data and it's going to send, and we'll call it as temperature data from RP Pico. Okay, done. So we have temperature data from Raspberry Pi Pico. W node is being created. Okay, so we have this. Next, we will see the output in the debug. Then later we'll add the graph for that. Okay, so first we'll see whether it is working or not. So I'll use this debug. Okay, connect this to debug. Done. Okay, here payload whatever it receives, let us show the output. Okay, now click on deploy. So when we modify anything, we should click on deploy. Okay, so here you can observe it's showing connecting and the green color it says connected. Now this module is being connected to the HiveMQ broker. Okay, so next I'll keep this to the right. Now here I'll run this. Our endpoint embedded system is connected to the internet. Wi-Fi connected. Then MQTT server connection. It is trying to connect to the MQTT server now. Once it is connected, it should send the data of temperature to that. It's connected and it's published temperature 45.4. You can observe here we are getting the value 45.4. Okay, if I alter this temperature value to 27.7, we can see. Okay, should change now. Okay, so if I change the humidity, we will not be receiving any data over here. Okay, but if we see it on this, we are receiving the data for the humidity also. We can observe now the humidity value which is in blue. Okay, it is also working, and for temperature is also working. Okay, 7.7, and if we see this, we are getting 7.7. Okay, as here we have substrate for both temperature and humidity, we are getting both, but in the flow we have created it for only for the temperature, so we are getting only temperature. That means our node block is working fine. Okay, that is MQTT server is connected and we are getting the data. Now next task is to add these points to the graph so that we can view it on the graph. So We'll stop this, stop it. Go back to dashboard. So let the debug be there, okay, so that we can view it over here also and in the graph. Now I want the graph to be plotted. If we see over here, we have it for parsing the file, okay, we have it for sequence, then we have it for storage, then in the common blocks also we have it to show, catch, everything, but we don't have any block with respect to plotting the graph. So if that's the case, we can use this function block, okay, write the function to get those data, save it to a particular file or append it to a list and show it on the graph in the form of svg or png, something like that. Okay, we need to write the functionality, but that is not required. We can check for, is there any already node-RED nodes which have been created by others for this type of activities. To check that, we need to go through the palettes. So click on the three dots menu over here. Then here we have manage palettes. In manage palettes, you can see only node-RED is installed. We don't have any other nodes. And in this node-RED, we have 15 nodes. We have 50 nodes over here. Okay. So now I require to check whether there is any other nodes similar to this where we can use it for dashboard or for GUI. So here there's an option for install. Click on this. Here you can search for nodes and you can see there are 5698 modules available. Okay, there are 5698 modules available in the internet. We'll search for the node. Okay, we'll search for dashboard. Okay, so there's a node with dashboard. There are two dashboards, one is deprecated and one is being developed by Flowfuse. Okay, first I'll go through this, later we'll go through this also. So here in this one also you have, this is for tables. Okay, if you want to show it in terms of table, excel chart, something like that, then you can use this, but we want it to be shown on the graph like the charts and all. So the charts option is available here, and in this one I'll use this one now. Click on install. Okay, it asks whether you trust this one. Okay, then you want to install, click on yes. You can go through the information, check whether you have the required node for you, then you can click on install also. For installing you require the internet connection because it goes through the server, installs it. So these are all the node palettes added now. Okay, so in the nodes we have these two. One is Flowfuse Node-RED dashboard with 27 nodes, then with Node-RED with 50 nodes. Okay, so if you want to remove it, you can click on this remove, or if you want to simply disable it, you can click on disable, so that nodes will be disabled and it won't show over here. Okay, I click on close. Now we have few more nodes added over here known as dashboard 2. Okay, which we can see dashboard 2. In this one we have the form, that is if you want to create a form like your website forms, okay, you can use this text input, number input, file upload, click on the button or a button group, drop down, all these things, but we want the chart, so we'll use this chart here. Okay. Then I need to configure the chart, double click on that, give the chart a name. Okay, we'll name it as DHT22 temperature, and the chart label I'll name it as temperature. Okay, then type of chart, let it be line chart. Okay, for the temperature line chart looks good, and interpolation linear, appending the data. I don't want the previous data to be removed, I want it to be appended. Okay, what is the point type? Okay, everything is fine. We'll click on, we'll keep this default and we'll click on done. Okay, here there's a page one and group one, that's fine, later we can create different pages. Done. Okay, so now we have that node ready. Now I need to connect this to this particular node. Okay, we have edited the flow, so to deploy, click on deploy. Now it is successfully deployed. Okay, but the question is now where to view this graph output. Okay, so here only the debug information will be shown. Graph will not be shown over here. Okay, so if we double click on this, it's going to give us the information. That's it. Okay, so if you observe here, there's a new option has been added, which is known as dashboard 2 for this. Okay, these informations you can get while going through the documentation of that particular node. Okay, if you go to the documentation of that, there you can find, okay, it shows a new dashboard 2.0 is been added. If you click on that, you can see, okay, theming, client data, everything will be shown here. There's an option for open dashboard. Click on that. Now we have a group 1 and page 1. That is here we have selected page 1 group 1. Okay, so that one. Okay, and the temperature graph is been there, but it doesn't have any data because now we have defined this graph. Okay, so we need to run the simulation so that we'll get the graph over here. Okay, I'll keep it over here. We'll start running the simulation now. Wi-Fi is connected. Now it is connecting to MQTT server. Once it's able to connect to the MQTT server, we'll be receiving the data on this graph. Here we should be able to see the output. Now it is done. Now here we can see 7.7 and a new dot is added with skill is temperature 7.7. Okay, if we vary the temperature over here, 41 degree. Now a new dot to be added and a line is drawn. Reduce it. We have again increase it. We have increase it. We have reduce. We have can see. Okay, now we can observe whenever a new data is been sent, automatically that data is added on the graph. And here it shows what is the date and time, and if you over on to that particular value, you can see, okay, the time stamp at which the data is received and what is the value of the temperature. Okay, now this is linear interpolation. If I want it to be a different one, like instead of linear I want it to be smooth, means you can click on that smooth and done. Click on deploy. Now here we can see it is changed. Okay, smooth one. If you go with step, if you make it step, it will be like some steps. Deploy. Every time when you change, go with that. So now we have the graph in the form of step. Okay, for this graph the linear one is fine. Okay, if you want to have bar chart, okay, histogram, something like that, you can change it over here. On done, deploy. Now we have, okay, you can vary the color also. You can modify the color. Okay, I'll choose with red now to highlight. We are not modified it. Series color, I want it to be red. Okay, done, deploy. Now here we can see it is red in color. So we have an endpoint embedded system over here, okay, which is sending the data to HiveMQ server. We have created our own dashboard by using Node-RED without writing a single line of code. Okay, and we'll be able to we are able to modify the graph. We'll be able to add another graph also with respect to the humidity over here. I'll pause this one so that I don't want to restart it from starting. Okay, so I'll use this module again. Okay, with subscription for humidity. Okay, name is humidity data. Done. Okay, now this I'll add it to another graph. This is for humidity. Okay, then this one is humidity, and we'll go with this going. Done. Okay, deploy. Now we have both humidity and temperature one. Okay, now in the page we can see we have two graph over here. One is for humidity and one is for temperature. We'll rerun this one. Okay, change the value of humidity. So from here it should start with the humidity. We are given the name properly, HMIDITY. Yes. Okay, we can see we are getting the humidity value also. So now we have both humidity and temperature is been updated in live. Okay, we can add it to different pages. Here it is in the page one. Okay, we can add it for different pages, or we can add both the graph in the that is both datas in the same graph. Okay, simply by going through that particular node, choosing the configuration according to our requirement and deploying it, we have our dashboard ready. So you can create multiple pages with different datas. Okay, say for example, Office 1, you want to have a separate Office 1 page, you can create Office 1 page. Office 2, you can create Office 2, like that. Okay, different pages can be created. Then in different pages, different graph and different controls can be added. And if you want to overview everything in a separate page, you can have a overview page, and you can have those data being shown. It's not always a graph you require. You can have the text data to be shown, or some indications like a bulb which indicates whether it is on or off, like that. Okay, all those configurations can be done with the help of nodes by using Node-RED. It can be done by using Node-RED. Any questions or any doubts? Let's stop this. Any questions? Others? Okay. So now we have seen like how to connect it. Okay, so before moving with another example, so I like to introduce a new product which we have been introduced, that is Pico IoT Spark. Okay, it is having 30 components. Like if anyone is interested to learn the IoT and all, okay, with respect to Raspberry Pi Pico W board, we are doing this. Okay, so you can go through this Pico IoT Spark kit. Okay, if you require. If you already have, you don't need to worry about it purchasing it again. If you don't have, if you are interested to learn with IoT, okay, you can go through this Pico IoT Spark where you will get 30 plus components. Okay, and purchasing with this, you'll be getting a free 15,000 worth course, which is of IoT 1, IoT crash course. Okay, which is going to start from December 7th. Okay, so you will be having that course free. If you want to go with still more higher components and all, okay, we have Pico IoT Explorer with 47 components, which will cover you most of the components which you require to learn different communication protocol, everything. Okay, if you are interested, you can go through that Pico IoT Explorer, or you can go with Pico IoT Spark. Okay, if you already have the kit with you, okay, already you have purchased for some other thing, you can, as an introductory offer, we are going with, as we have started this first now, okay, with this IoT 1 crash course. Okay, we are offering this course for a low rate of 499. Later the course fees will be changed. Okay, this will be 499 only if you apply this course code. Okay, and this is valid up to December, like this month end, that's it. Okay, later the course fees is going to change. The batch has been scheduled from December 7th to December 26th. Every day it will be from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Okay, except Saturday. Okay, the classes will be from Sunday to Friday. You can see what all the benefits you will get, and the syllabus of this one. Okay, and you have the option to buy the kit and go with this course for free. Okay, once you, if you have purchased the kit, you can drop us the message. Okay, or like however when you purchase it, we will be having your details. Okay, your account will be added for the free course one. Okay. So here you have the list of components what you are going to get. Can go through it. Trusted, can get it. And this kit will be shipped to you anywhere in India for free. Okay, so you don't need to pay any uh, shipping charges or anything. And this charge is along with GST included. If you want to claim any GST, you can drop us the message with the GST number. We'll be sending you with the GST input bill. Okay, so that you can claim that GST amount also. If anyone is interested, you people can go through this. I'll be sharing the link in the chat. Okay, or you can drop us the message to the contact number, to this email ID or to this contact number. You can drop us the message. Okay, and the session will not be in the YouTube. Okay, this course, whatever we have been doing, this is not going to be in the YouTube. It is going to be in the Teams itself. Okay, Microsoft Teams, where you can also share your screen and you can also speak. Okay, here in the YouTube we have option only to chat. Okay, so in the Teams you can also unmute yourself and you can ask the questions and you can speak and you can share your screen if you have any doubts, everything. Okay, so there it will be there. And once you have been enrolled for this course, you can find the resources of this course and the videos directly in the website. Okay, at any point of time, if you want to go through it again, you can come back and you can log in with your user ID and password, okay, through which you have purchased the kit or you have purchased the course. Then you will have the resource available over there. Okay, you can revise it and you can go through it again and again. Okay? And we'll be updating those course details in the future also. In the future, when we update the course details, you no need to pay for it again. Okay, you will have the lifetime access of this course. Later, if we are going to add few more topics in this, okay, the resource of that and the videos of that will be uploaded in that. You can go through it. Okay, you don't need to pay it again for the updated course. It's not required. Once you purchase it over here, you'll have it available for you. Okay, only for this month you have the offer of 97%. Okay, by adding this coupon code at the time of checkout, or if you purchase the kit. Okay, That is, the kit is worth more than 5K. Okay, we are, as an introductory offer, we are giving this. This is because, like, first time we have gone with the components from our side. Previously we have been doing only the core session, not the hardwares we have not been giving. Okay, but many of them have been asking for the hardware components to learn the IoT, so we started with this as an introductory one. We are giving at this price. Later the price will change. Okay, so if you want to purchase the same components, 30 components from outside, okay, like, when you go and purchase, it will be nearer to 5 and above 5. Some components you may not find it over there also. So the next one is with controlling the endpoint embedded system from the node, right? Until now we have been seen pushing the data to the server. Okay, from the server we have been able to view the data in the form of graph or in the file, something like that. Now here we will be controlling this NeoPixel LED from the Node-RED dashboard. Okay, so same MQTT dashboard is used. Okay, but here we are not going to subscribe, we are going to push the data. So we'll be using MQTT out, and I don't want to waste the time by to say creating all those nodes. As we said, like, if we have already created a flow, we can easily import it or we can easily export it. If I want to export this node to you people, so that you can simply use that file and you will be having this dashboard ready, means click on this. Okay, then you have the option to export. Here you select the node which you want to export. Okay, I want the flow to be exported, Oakview DHT22 flow to be exported. Click on that and click on download. A JSON file will be downloaded. Okay, now this JSON file, I can share it to anyone, so that once they import, they will have all these nodes set up with all the configurations. Okay, then they can simply click on the dashboard. They'll have the dashboard ready. They can view the output. Similarly, now for the new flow, I'll import the flow. That is, go for import. Okay, from the local, I have already a new flow being created. Open it, then click on import. Okay, so it's saying required modules missing. There is a Node-RED dashboard module is required for that flow to be used. Okay, uh, here you can observe, like, I have not installed another module for picking the color and all. Okay, that is being already added in that flow. So it is showing me an notification that a required module is missing. Click on the install all. So it's going to install that module required. Now that is installed. Okay, done. Close it. We have a NeoPixel flow ready. Okay, and they're showing some warning. We'll see what is that. Okay, done. Okay, now everything is ready. Click on deploy. Done. Okay, we have NeoPixel MQTT output is being connected. This is connected to MQTT dashboard with SD dash NeoPixel as an topic. Okay, and here it is SD dash NeoPixel is the topic. So whenever we choose the color here, okay, we should get that over here. Okay, that means if I click on this in the debug, here everything, click on this. Here we can see it says RGB 25500. That means red color to be shown. Okay, if we run, connecting to Wi-Fi. So here you can observe it is in red in color. Okay, so if I modify this value, to something like green, deploy, okay, inject it. Now green color is sent. Now if we come over here, we can see it is green. Okay, but I don't want to modify it again, and I don't want to click on deploy or click on that button. I want a color picker to be chosen. For that we have this dashboard being created. Okay, so I'll go with that dashboard, particular dashboard. Yeah, new dashboard, open it. So we have a new NeoPixel dashboard where we have the color picker over here. Okay, if I change the color, you can observe the color of this NeoPixel is being changed. So if I change it to pink here, the NeoPixel LED is changed to pink. If I change it to yellow, it's yellow. If I change it to green, it's green, light blue, blue, purple, red, okay, white, black. Okay. So as I change the color over here, automatically the color of this NeoPixel LED is been altered. Okay, so this is possible with this node, and you could have been observed now. Okay, and not spent much time. Already this nodes were been configured and it is been stored in the form of JSON file. We have simply imported it, clicked on deploy. Okay, we have our dashboard ready, and we are able to control the hardware. So I can have the graph and this color pickers, everything in a single dashboard itself, and I can control the components, or I can view the status also from a single window. If I want to create multiple dashboards like this, we can create multiple pages like here. Okay, we can have multiple pages created, then we can add multiple graph or the controlling points for that particular page, and we can view the details. Okay, so by using Node-RED we can customize the dashboard easily. And you don't need to pay any money for using this Node-RED. Node-RED is an free and open source, and it is not required that it should be available, it should be hosted in the cloud itself. If you want to use it from anywhere, then you need to have it in the cloud. That is the dashboard. If you are doing it in your mobile phone or in your system by locally also, you can create these dashboards locally. You can run it and you can access the information. uh, it is not required that you need to have a server to have the Node-RED running. Okay, for some services to use you need to have the server, but for the Node-RED you don't need to worry about it. You can host it in your local host itself, and in your local system it works. Okay, if you want to share the dashboard to others, simply export it in the form of JSON. Okay, and ask them to import it. Once they import, it shows warnings if there are no if there are some missing nodes. They can simply click on install, then those nodes will get installed. Then they have the dashboard ready and the flow ready. Okay, so this is with Node-RED. Okay, so before going with questions, I like to share the attendance because it's time up. Okay, so this is the attendance form link and the QR code. Take the screenshot and fill the attendance to get the certificate. Okay, once you have noted down the attendance link or taken the screenshot, if you have any questions, you people can drop it on the chat box. Please let me know once you have noted down the attendance link or taken the screenshot of this. Yeah. So if any questions, we'll take up. We have 5 minutes time. If any questions, you can drop it on the chat box, or you can drop it in the Telegram or to the WhatsApp. Any questions? Okay. So with that, we'll be ending today's session. Okay. Um, so if anyone is interested with learning the IoT from the scratch, we'll be going through from the embedded system, coding, then the IoT development, everything. Okay. Uh, that starts with the basics of the electricity. Okay. Electricity, then electronics, components, then microcontroller. Okay. Then later we will go with the IoT in that. Okay. So if anyone is interested, you can check that syllabus. If you have any queries with that, you can drop the message in the WhatsApp or in the Telegram. Okay. So with that, we will wind up with this session. We'll meet up in next webinar or the workshop. Okay. Thanks everyone. Hello.